Checking. 1, 2, 1, 2 for recording. All right. All right. Mic check works. Okay, good. Hello, everyone. It's good to be with y'all. It's really great to start off this Science Hub Spring Convocation. I'm very honored and pleased to be here. My name is Jannice Brewer. I am a private mental health coach. Aside from that, I am a freelance artist, a Navy veteran who trained as an electrician's mate on nuclear reactors that go on aircraft carriers or submarines. But I was smart and I got out in 2010. Sarcasm, maybe a little bit. Um, I've always been an avid learner for everything that makes human beings be themselves. So psychology is the route that I went. Today I want to introduce to you positive psychology. Well, what do you let me actually, you know what? I meant to pull up the Prezi presentation link for you. And I'm going to go ahead and pull it up for you and put it in the voice channel here. So give me 1 second. I will pull up that for you so you guys can follow along. Okay. Sorry for the wait. All right. I thought I'd had it copied and it's not. And then I ended up replying. All right. So if you go ahead and go to the voice channel, right above the voice here, if you click on that Prezi link, it will allow you to go ahead and see and follow along with me. All right. So let's start all over again. No, I'm just kidding. Well, let's talk about psychology. We're going to be talking about positive psychology. And the question is, well, isn't all psychology positive? Isn't that why people seek therapy or counseling? No, it isn't. So we're going to look into psychology. Psychology has been a means to look at all the negatives and why they occurred and have been affecting an individual in their current state. What are the positive aspects of human nature? When does that question ever come up? The human itself is a tool that can use or develop positive character traits or virtues very much as it can make any individual focus on acts of evil. The human is such a tool, and not in that kind of joke. I have a book recommendation because it would be too long to go ahead and also be talking about this book, but there's a book recommendation by Dr. Philip Zimbardo, The Lucifer Effect, Understanding How Good People Turn Evil, and I really recommend this book. There's always been the focus on the negative aspects of human nature. There's a whole bunch of journal articles, why they commit crimes, and in the name of violence submit to its evil. The tone of this book is dark in that ordinary people can just turn to evil, but there is a way to resist social influences and contain what power individuals have to not be overcome by the power of situational forces. Oh, okay, it's visible. Yes, it's just a... Thank you, Big Monday. Thank you. How often are how often are psychology articles focusing on hope or wisdom, creativity, future mindedness, courage or spirituality, responsibility, or how positive individuals thrive in their communities. Like how do they think of normal people, how Michael or John or Susie and Mary are doing in their communities and why they live their normal daily lives as they are. Psychology should be documenting the different types of families and how their children flourish over time. What work settings support the mental health and well-being of employees or employers? You know, what makes life worth living? That should be the question. While repairing the past difficulties that have caused turmoil in someone's path, the model of human functioning can be focused on positive qualities and generating individual positive traits. That's what's really, really important. All right. I'm recording this, so I'm trying to make sure it's okay. Um, there we go. Dr. Martin Seligman was appointed president of the American Psychological Association. And around that time, it was when he realized with his own daughter that it was not about correcting whining, but about identifying the strong qualities and emphasizing them. You know what I just realized? There you go. That way you don't have to click on the Pretzel link, and Discord has this thing now that you can screen share. How nice is that? Right? I see. Thank you so much. Okay, dude. We're recording this. It's okay. And this is called just, it's working out. All right. So we're on the Dr. Martin Seligman point. Because then, see, you weren't following on my PowerPoint or Prezi anyways. Okay. Here we go again. Huh. So, Dr. Martin Seligman was appointed president of the American Psychological Association. Often you hear that just APA if you're in the psychological field. And around that time, it was when he realized he was having this conversation with his own daughter that it wasn't about correcting the whining, and it was about identifying the strong qualities and emphasizing them. You know, you don't just quiet your daughter and tell him to stop whining without redirecting her and telling her, hey, this is the way how you should interact, and focus on how to do it in a nice, happy way. Not just about using psychology to find out what is wrong with the individual, why my daughter kept whining was his question. It was about to address the positives, right? The fact that several mental health illnesses have been identified is important to the field of psychology. I'm not saying that focusing on the negative all this time has been negative. Quoting Dr. Seligman, he said, "What makes life worth living?" So, 60 years ago, none of the disorders were treatable. Now, 14 of the disorders are treatable, 2 of them actually curable. And the other thing that has happened is that a science developed, a science of mental illness. Concepts like depression, alcoholism, you can measure them, create a classification of mental illnesses. And best of all, we were able in the last 50 years to invent drug treatments and psychological treatments. And then we were able to test them and throw out the things that didn't work and keep the things that actively did. The conclusion of that is psychology and psychiatry of the last 60 years can actually claim that we can make miserable people less miserable. And I think that's terrific. That's Dr. Seligman. And I think that's terrific too. Positive psychology, that is what Dr. Seligman developed to help people lead normal lives in a positive manner. What is life? What makes life worth living, right? What are the positives in positive psychology? The positives are the different aspects that make positive psychology helpful to the well-being of others. There are 4 different personal traits that contribute to positive psychology. They are subjective well-being, optimism, happiness, and self-determination. Briefly, I'll explain the 4, but I'll invite you to read the following journal article, which is here. and it'll be available for you guys to pull up. By Dr. Seligman and Csikszentmihalyi, I believe. Positive Psychology, an introduction in the American Psychology Journal. Subjective well-being, how individuals think of themselves and how they feel about themselves. Optimism, it includes components of cognitive, emotional, and motivational elements that help people experience better moods or successful outcomes. Happiness, any element that helps improve and contribute to a positive quality of life. Anything, any element. Self-determination, a theory that dives into the need for competence, the need for belongingness, the need for autonomy, like the need, self-determination, your theory that drives you for, to belong. Positive psychology dwells into helping how to improve the human condition, whatsoever it may be, whether they're suffering or they're not. Okay? So now we have a psychology that will not only focus on the negative emotions or the negative feedback from individuals' lives, but the focus will be on human virtues, positive qualities that make good action or good character. Positive psychology looks forward to having this field broaden its horizons to understanding and helping build up to the factors that allow individuals and communities and societies to thrive. Who doesn't want to thrive? We all thrive for something. But what we should strive for the most is the characteristics of humans that make life worth living. And I keep repeating this phrase, and it sounds like, didn't she just say that? Yes, because it is important. That is why positive psychology is important. It is the science of happiness. It's not this new discovered way of interpreting psychology. No, it's not a new branch or anything like that. It's still psychology. They still use the same measurements and everything. But it's the science of happiness and what makes life worth living. Science. And it is bringing the power of modern science to enable everyone to make the most out of their lives. So, what is right about people that are happy? What factors have influenced that human being or that group of people to flourish in society? How do human beings actively participate in life to the fullest? You can't watch from the sidelines. You're always running a play. I mean, if you don't play sports, you're always constantly running, from something. You're trying to hurry to a place. Only then do you realize what life has to offer. You can't watch from the sidelines. You don't experience it full on. You go into the field, whether you play soccer, football, whichever you want to call it, you gotta practice it daily. Positive psychology is a tool to further help people understand that under daily stress or hard times, the loss of loved ones, whether you're failing school or you feel like you're failing at work with assignments or being rejected, those circumstances, let us be ourselves, our best selves. You fall down and you get up and you make the most of it, no matter what life is going through. It is not a self-help technique. It is not a mass collection of what talents and strengths help people succeed at individual or community levels. Dr. Seligman developed a PERMA acronym model, and we all love acronyms, whether, comes from math or physics or anything. We have one for psychology. Yay! All right, so PERMA acronym model, which he describes as 5 core elements of psychological well-being and happiness. Positive emotion, what we feel. So joy, comfort, gratitude, being in awe, like, feeling warmth, etc. Engagement, being fully absorbed in stimulating activities. Relationships with others that are positive, nurturing, rewarding, you spending time one on one with each other, meaning serving some purpose that is larger than oneself, and accomplishment, pursuit of achievement and mastery, challenging self in positive ways to develop your strengths and skills. So these are 5 elements of the PERMA model, and they can help individuals be happy and become fully engaged with what they find meaning in life. It varies from person to person. Now, how crazy is this? You've grown up all your life and you've thinking, okay, how useful is math? And then you think of PEMDAS. And then you think of other ways. Now, why, why not think, how is life how is life worth living? What can make me happy? PERMA model. Look into the PERMA model. You need help? Don't know what to do? PERMA model. Look it up and it will help you remember. You don't have to remember just from today the 5 core elements to well-being and happiness. And it's important. It's important to know what the meaning in life is. It varies from person to person. It will not be the same, from person A to person B. It will not ever be the same. But why? Why is this important? Why is it important to think about the PERMA acronym when you think that you don't have the possibility of being happy? Because you do. Because you have a brain. And the brain is an amazing, amazing organ, amazing tool. Why? Have you ever heard of neuroplasticity? As soon as I learned of this word, probably 20 years ago, it amazed me. And 20 years ago, yes, because I am 34 years old, so I am old. It amazed me and opened the possibilities that anyone is capable of anything. Neuroplasticity is the ability of the nervous system to change in response to experience or environmental stimulation. And that's according to the American Psychological Association. So, using the positive and stimulating activities following the PERMA model, the things individuals do often, they become stronger. The more you practice, you become stronger. Those that you don't, they fade away. The same is with neuroplasticity. It is a work throughout life. Your brain is a work throughout life. An artwork of connections of the brain changing. Neurons exchanging all the time, right now, becoming stronger or weaker, depending on what areas are being used. We are capable of rewiring and remodeling ourselves to improve ourselves daily. We have that power. That is crazy. You pay attention to what is good, what is present, and you experience the moment. Happiness is only but a portion of what we choose to experience in our lives as human beings. How can you use the PERMA model to guide you? That is my question to you. Design your day to live in a successful way, a concept of a beautiful day that enriches you and those that are surrounding you, your community, your loved ones. I appreciate this talk so very much. Thank you so very much. And yeah, that's it.
Questions?